Well, today is World Teachers Day, a day dedicated to honoring and acknowledging teachers worldwide for their invaluable contributions to students and society. This year's theme, the teachers we need for the education we want, the global imperative to reverse the teacher shortage, highlights the urgent need to address the growing teacher shortage. The day is an exploration of the challenges educators face, safety concerns impacting them, and the perceived lack of government support, the necessity for continuous empowerment within the teaching profession. Earlier on, I spoke to Mugwena Maluleke, who is the South African Democratic Teacher Union, SATU's General Secretary.
My favorite teacher, unfortunately, rest in peace. May his soul rest in peace. He's one of the best teachers that has taught me in Dom A and Dom B under the tree many years ago. Yeah.
Dom A and Dom B also speaks to how things have changed over the years with the curriculum as well as the grading of the various schools. Where do you think South Africa has gotten it right when it comes to ensuring that every child, or at least the majority of the children, actually find a school that they get enrolled to and they actually find a teacher in the class? We'll deal with the issues around capacity, but the issue around access to basic education.
Yeah, I think that's a very important area that we need to look at when we celebrate our teachers today. It is that since 1994, we have been able to have a drive that was able to say every learner has a right to education and it's compulsory education. That's where we got it right when we started saying up to 15 years of age, all children have got to attend schooling, and we have seen these numbers growing in our schools, and we signed a collective agreement that was really about teacher-people ratio, where we have to say in primary school to be 40:1, and then in high schools it will be 35:1. And that unfortunately has been based on the international benchmarking. It is not the best of the best that we would have loved to have. However, that was to ensure that each and every learner has a teacher in front of them at the beginning of the year up until they close the schools in December or November. So that is how we got it right. We have seen the numbers rising to where they were up to 14 million of our children today in the schools. They have got school nutrition, and obviously we are struggling with scholar transport. These are the things that they must ensure that you only don't have access, but you also have quality, but also you have got support in terms of your nutrition, in terms of your psychosocial needs and so forth, because it's something else to be in the classroom but you're hungry. It's something else in the classroom but you have anxiety, you have got mental disturbances, but nobody cares about those particular things. So you have to ensure that it is an ecosystem where you ensure that quality education happens.
Yeah, and speaking about the mental impact as well, because we know that mental health is quite a big challenge. This month, of course, being Mental Health Month, the SACP saying that with their Red October month theme, they're also linking the socio-economic conditions that the population find themselves in to mental health. But that also means that teachers being part of society, and also with the majority of children being enrolled in schools, also now have to grapple with how do you deal with mental health challenges that children face, and on the other end as well, the impact that it has on the teacher themselves.
Yeah, mental health has an impact in all of us. It has an impact on the parents that we are teaching their children, and we have got to be able to understand that. So for us to be able to understand the background of the learner that we are teaching on a daily basis is to understand that particular community, to understand that family, what is it that they are going through. And then if we understand that, then we are able to address those particular issues. Teachers are also impacted. We see the number of teachers growing, those who are admitted for really anxiety, depression, and so forth, again, as a result of what we see as behavioral problems that really is affecting many of our children in our schools in the form of violence, gender-based violence, and many other things that are happening in terms of substance abuse and drugs that are readily available and surrounding our schools. These are the things that are impacting on our mental health, and therefore we have got to deal with those things. We are engaging with the department and to ensure that really we can increase these professionals in our schools so that they can help our students and our teachers to be able to really deal with that and build resilience around this particular issue. The teaching profession has changed to the extent that we used to be concentrating on teaching to read, teaching to write, and numeracy and so forth. Now we have got to concentrate on other two major issues, which is mental health, and then the second area is to now concentrate on the issues of violence and the level of the school, and we need to be able to deal with all of them. So you've got to look at 5 areas that we have to deal with.
One of the other issues is the shortages of teachers, and that's part of this year's theme as well. Does South Africa have a problem with shortage of teachers from SATU's point of view? Also considering that we had Funza Lushaka that was introduced to train many more teachers, and then you find a situation where teachers are saying that they are unemployed and they are not finding jobs, and these are people that have been registered, they have the license to teach. And then on the other end as well, you've got the Bella Bill, which has been accepted by Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Basic Education, and there it says make grade R compulsory, which means that you have a new stream of millions of children that will be coming into the basic education system. But do we have enough teachers to make sure that every child has a teacher in front of them, and also that ratio that you were speaking about earlier on?
Well, I must indicate, Aldrin, that South Africa is not experiencing teacher shortages at the moment. The only thing is that we are experiencing austerity measures that are blocking the schools to a point on time. And the budget cuts are the problems that we're facing with, because we have got a lot of teachers that are trained that are not employed. We've got the Funza Lishaka, we've got the NAFSAs, those that have really educated themselves, who are out there, they need to be employed. The only area that really we can say is teacher shortage is when we're dealing with mathematics and science. It is where we can say there is a need for us to be able to increase our investment in that particular area. But generally speaking is that we don't, especially when you are going to be talking about teacher-pupil ratio, because the teacher-pupil ratio makes sure that in each and every school across the country, there is a teacher for at least 40 learners in a classroom and 35 learners in a secondary school. That is assured and is happening at the current moment. And what we need to address really are the gateway subjects, where we see that there's a big gap that we need to be addressing. And I think that the Funza Lishaka and the NAFSAs, it is that our universities and the Department of Basic Education have to work together in ensuring that we target those particular areas so that we can then be able to have our learners, once they graduate from grade 12, then they're able to really see better careers and better possibilities of them being employed.
Yeah. Considering that scarcity of teachers in those STEM subjects, would SATU be open to having teachers who come from other countries, foreign nationals, be allowed to actually teach in these subjects where there's a critical shortage, to increase the number?
Where there's a critical shortage, our schools have always been employing our teachers and brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe who have been assisting us. And clearly, it is an area that we have opened ourselves and said, in this particular area, we need to give ourselves time to be able to train. But at the moment, because we don't have those particular teachers, let us also utilize our brothers and sisters from Zimbabwe who have done mathematics, science, and accounting to help our schools. So we are open for that particular area, because whatever we do is in the best interest of our country, in the best interest of our students, and so forth. But we're giving ourselves time to say it can't go on forever indefinitely. It has got to be a targeted program so that we're then able to have this, the teachers in South Africa training those particular subjects.
So if this has been an ongoing problem, and we have been employing teachers from, as you say, our neighboring countries, especially Zimbabwe, where is the problem when it comes to training teachers who are South Africans to teach those subjects in our schools?
Well, it is about the interest of those particular young people who basically are not registering in our universities in numbers for these particular STEM subjects or the STEM area. We have had a shortage in foundation phase teachers where we are supposed to also be training them so that they build a better foundation. So we have always been having teachers registering in the intermediate phase, and then obviously in the junior secondary phases, instead of the foundation phase where we need to build a very strong foundation in mathematics and numeracy and so forth. So that's the problem. Secondly, it is that we don't see the number of learners who have done mathematics and science and accounting registering for teaching, precisely because there's greener pastures out there. Companies are taking them easily because obviously they need them for technology, they need them for innovation and many other things in terms of chemical industry that obviously is taking them immediately they qualify. Actuarial sciences, financial sector is taking those who have done mathematics, accounting and sciences into those particular industries, and therefore leaving us with a very small pool where we can attract these particular teachers, precisely because violence in our school is a problem that the young people are saying, look, I go to teaching, I see teachers being shot at, stepped at, and therefore I'm not going into this. We need to improve the environment as well.
Yeah, so outside of the safety, is the remuneration an issue at all? Because if you have companies, private entities that are able to poach you and give you a lucrative contract compared to what you'd get at a school, could that be one of the reasons why they'd rather opt to go for the corporate sector?
Yeah, because we are saying in this year, for the teachers we need and the education we want, the issue there is to address how we can mobilize our governments to ensure that the teachers are paid well, that they are valued, that they are respected, that their environment is conducive for them to be able to work. So we need to address the issue of career pathing. We need to address the issue of incentives that the teachers need in our schools, given the fact that in the recent past, the department has withdrawn one of those particular rural incentives on the basis that it was not properly implemented and properly processed, because it was a unilateral decision that was taken by the minister in 2008. And therefore we need to address those particular issues in order to retain good teachers and be able to recruit new teachers into our system, is those particular issues. So pay is an issue, it will always be an issue, and it has got to be addressed. But addressing it, we need to look at various issues in terms of benefits that we can be able to build for the teachers.
Just a final one, Mugwena. In conclusion, the South African Council of Educators before Parliament presenting the complaints that they've received against educators, sexual misconduct, one of the major problems there, where you find teachers having sexual relationships and essentially raping children in schools. One of the cases that SAY spoke about was a child in the foundation phase, meaning grade 1 to grade 3. What's SATU doing as a labor union to help curb these cases of sexual misconduct from your members?
We have spoken about the Bella Bill. The Bella Bill has also strengthened that particular area as well, including the area of corporal punishment. As the South African Democratic Teachers Union, as we celebrate our teachers who we value, who we respect so much, we really would want to say to all our teachers, we've got to respect our children as well. They have dignity, and therefore stay away from having sexual relationship. What we do, we train what we call men as partners in order to respect our colleagues at the level of school, but we also train our teachers on labor issues to understand that you cannot have a sexual relationship with the school learners, because it is unlawful and obviously it's immoral, and therefore we have got to work together with the community and the parents, in particular those parents that continue to be bored by almost with about 3,000 rands and then not come and not bring their children to testify against this particular sexual pests that are in our schools and so forth. So as we celebrate, we are looking at the majority of our people that are doing their best, applying themselves, discharging themselves, but we have got a very small group of people that tarnish the profession, and these we have got to make sure that we work together with the parents. Once they are exposed, don't defend them as the parents, don't take that 3,000 rands, make sure that you go there, testify with your learner, so that we can be able to have a safe environment for our schools and protect our children. We have that duty as the teachers to do so, and we want to thank our teachers who are doing this on a daily basis.